Welcome to the show. Brock Page here, random sports picks for fun. Phillies at Detroit for a 7 o'clock showdown in Little Caesars. Detroit opened up as the 3.5-point favorites and the total at an even 214. Since the betting opened up, we've seen a good amount of that early money come pouring in on the Pistons and the over. Right now, Detroit's minus 3.5 against the spread, with the total moving upward to 214.5. The Pistons are 175 to win it outright, and at the moment, just 20% of the actions on Philly. So look for the Sixers to catch some more points by tip-off. Now, if you're betting sides in this one, you might want to be cautious about catching some points with this Sixers ball club. Against the spread, Phillies covered just 1 of 3 overall. They're also 1 and 2 covering against teams giving up more than 102 points per game. They got themselves a formidable covering opponent in Detroit Monday night. If you're a Detroit bettor in this one, you might like the fact that they've gone 3-0 against the spread overall. Detroit against the spread is also 1-0 at home and 2-0 laying the points. Even better, Detroit's 1-0 covering as the official home favorite and 2-0 covering against sub-500 teams. They're also 2-0 covering after a day off. Most impressive about this Detroit ball club is their 3-0 record against the spread versus teams allowing more than 102 a game. Once again, if you're betting sides in this one, all roads lead to Detroit being a pretty wise proposition. Now, scoring-wise, there are definitely a few trends that'll pique the interest of over bettors in this one. Both teams are 2-1 to the overs on the year. Detroit's averaging 112 points per game in those overs. Philly themselves are giving up 117 points per game on the year themselves. All that in mind, the case for over bettors can certainly be made, and I'm in full agreement. All told, I like the Detroit Pistons for the straight-up victory and the over 214 in this one. Next game I have for you, it is going to be Memphis at Houston for an 8 o'clock Eastern start at the Toyota Center. Houston opened up the 8.5-point favorites with the total at 211.5 in this one. Since the betting opened up, however, most of that early action has come pouring in on the visiting Memphis Grizzlies to get the job done. Houston's now laying just 7.5 against the spread, with the total moving downward to an even 211. Houston's slightly better than 3-1 on the money line, and at the moment, 69% of the actions on Memphis. So look for them to be catching less points if this trend continues. And speaking of the trends, they certainly favor Memphis and their bettors in this one. The Grizzlies against the spread are 2-0 overall, 1-0 catching points, and 1-0 at the current spread. Memphis is also 2-0 covering after a day off, and 2-0 covering versus teams giving up more than 102 a game. They've got themselves a Houston team who's 0-1 covering against the current spread and covered just 1 of 2 as the favorite, laying points. All right, this Houston squad also failed to cover over the likes of the Sacramento Kings just 2 games ago. All told, the case for Memphis can certainly be made, but when it comes to choosing sides, I simply have no interest. Houston's garnered themselves solid covers over the likes of Golden State and double digits over Dallas. My attention's a little bit more geared toward the total in this one, where both teams have gone 2-0 to the unders in both of their last 2 games, respectively. The typically offensive-minded Rockets have given up just 95 points per contest in those 2 unders. Meanwhile, on the other side, Memphis has given up just 96 points of scoring per contest in their last 2 themselves. All said and done, the case for under bettors can certainly be made, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to forego betting sides in this one, but when it comes to the scoring, I'm in full agreement with the under bettors on this one. I like the under 211 in this matchup. All right, I'm going to slide into my next game. I'm talking about Charlotte at Milwaukee for an 8 o'clock Eastern start. They're going to play this one at the BMO Harris Bradley Center in Wisconsin. The home team opened as the 6.5-point favorites and the total at 206.5. Since the betting opened up, not much movement on the points as the spread remains at Milwaukee minus 6.5. We have seen some significant movement toward the under on the total, however. Total, like I said, opened 206.5, now moved downward to an even 205. The Bucks opened 270, now 275 to win it outright. And at the moment, just 36% of the actions on Charlotte. So look for them to be catching some more value by the closing bell. Now, Charlotte bettors, sharp or not, really don't have a whole lot to look forward to in this one. They're 0-1 covering in road games, 1-0 in games catching points, 0-1 covering as the official road underdog. They got themselves a Milwaukee opponent who's 2-1 against the spread overall and 1-1 as the favorite. The trends seem to favor the Bucks in this one, but I think the 6.5-point lay is a bit steep. The money line equity in this one, it kind of stinks, but I do like Milwaukee to take this one down on their home court and win it outright. Now, scoring-wise, these Bucks games have indeed featured themselves their fair share of points. Their games are 3-0 to the overs so far on the year. Having said all that, Charlotte games are 2-0 to the unders themselves and are averaging just 99 points of scoring per game in their 2 games. With all that mumbo-jumbo in mind, I can't in good conscience make a play on the total in this one. All told, however, I do like the Milwaukee Bucks to win this one outright for some money line cash. Next game I have for you, it is going to be Toronto at San Antonio. Great matchup here. This one tips off at 8:30 Eastern in the AT&T Center in Tejas. The Spurs opened up the betting laying 2 with the total at just 205. Since the betting opened up, however, we've seen some good early money on the over and the Spurs. Right now, San Antonio's minus 2.5 against the spread with the total moving upward to an even 206. The Spurs opened up 136, now $1.50 to win it outright. And at the moment, just 40% of the current money is on Toronto, so look for them to catch at least 3.5 on the road by tip-off. I don't know what to say, guys. Both teams have been pretty solid against the number in this young season. Toronto against the spread is 2-0 overall and 2-0 after a day of rest. The Raptors have garnered themselves marquee covers over the likes of Philly and Chicago. They're going up against a San Antonio squad who's been pretty good against the number themselves. San Antonio's 1-0 covering at home and 1-0 as the official home favorite. This is going to be a real tough one to choose sides on. I got to think San Antonio's good here by a couple of points at home, although Toronto's been great against the number themselves. Toronto, they might be able to pull off a backdoor cover and still manage to lose in the outright game. So only time will tell. We'll have to see. But scoring-wise, we've seen a lot of it in these Toronto games. The Raptors are 2-0 to the overs on the year, and they're averaging an absurd 123 points of scoring per game. San Antonio games are 1-1 to the overs themselves, but I do have concerns for over bettors. If you like the points in this one, keep in mind that San Antonio's holding their opponents to just 88 points per contest. All told, I really want to make a play on this game just because it has all the makings of being a great one. I'm going to forego the spread and the total on this one. Give me the San Antonio Spurs laying the 150 and winning this one outright straight up. All right, next game I have for you. I'm talking about Washington at Denver for a 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Pepsi Center. Denver opened up the 3.5-point favorites with the total at a rotund 220.5. Since the betting opened up, however, we've seen a good amount of that early money come pouring in on Washington to get it done and the over. Currently, Denver's laying just 3 against the spread with the total moving all the way up to 225.5. The Nuggets opened up 145 to win it outright. Now $1.50 to win. I'm expecting a closing number anywhere between 1 and 2 points as Washington currently holds 64% of the public action. Now, if you feel like betting sides in this one, keep in mind Washington bettors that this Wizards squad is 0-2 against the spread overall. Oddly enough, Washington's also 0-2 covering the spread after a day of rest. They're going up against a Denver team who's 1-0 against the spread at home, 1-0 laying the points, and 1-0 as the official home favorite. All in all, pretty tough to pick sides in this one as Washington hasn't played on the road yet this year, let alone on the West Coast. So let's see if we can go ahead and gather something from the scoring trends. And when it comes to those trends, Washington games have gone 2-0 to the overs thus far on the year. They're scoring a significant 118 points per contest in those games. Looks like a case for the over can certainly be made, but keep in mind that Denver games are actually 2-0 to the unders themselves. So this has all the makings of a game I absolutely do not want to touch, but I do hope that you enjoyed the free information, my friends. I got nothing for you, no picks for you on this one. All right, I'm going to slide into my next and final game for the show. I'm talking about Sacramento at Phoenix for a 10 o'clock Eastern start. This one's going to tip off at the Talking Stick Resort Arena in the desert. Phoenix opened as the 1.5-point favorites and the total at 213.5. Since the betting opened up, we've seen a significant amount of money come pouring in on the under in this one. We've also seen some action come in on the home team to get the job done. Currently, Phoenix is now the 2.5-point favorites, with the total dropping all the way down to an even 210. Phoenix opened up 120, now $1.25 to win this one outright. And at the moment, 53% of the public money's on the Sacramento Kings. But I don't think it'll be enough action to move the lines anytime soon. If you're a Phoenix bettor in this one, obviously you know something I don't, because these guys have been absolutely 100% putrid against the number so far in the year. Currently, the Suns are 0-3 against the spread overall and 0-2 covering at home. In addition to going 0-1 against the spread as the official home favorite, Phoenix has gone 0-3 covering against teams allowing, more than 102 points a game. Wow. They're going up against a Sacramento team who's 2-0 covering overall and 2-1 as the official Vegas underdog. In addition to all that, Sacramento against the spread has gone 2-0 after a day off. Overall, things are looking pretty good for Sacramento bettors. And as a matter of fact, I think they should be able to do this one outright. Now, scoring-wise, Sacramento games 3-0 to the unders. On the other side, Phoenix games 2-1 to the unders themselves. I like that a lot, all told. I like the Sacramento Kings winning this one outright and straight up for some money line cash with the under 210 in this one. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.